Happy Friday. Welcome to the Big Tech Gut Check here on Scrolling to Death. This is a quick weekly update for parents on all things social media and big tech. This update is for the week of May 20th, 2024. First up this week, and most importantly, again, we have to talk about sextortion. It's getting really bad. The FBI is warning parents that cases of sextortion are exploding. So many people, specifically teen boys, are getting targeted. This week, a family in South Carolina named the Barnetts are speaking out after their 13-year-old Timothy died by suicide after getting targeted by a sextorter on Snapchat. Predators love Snapchat because the messages disappear, but sextortion can happen on any platform where adults can talk privately to children. The Barnetts are now understandably suing Snapchat for defective design and for connecting their child with a predator. According to Snapchat's internal research, nearly 2/3 of Gen Z teens and young adults who use Snapchat say they or their friends have been targeted in an online sextortion scheme. I dropped an episode yesterday with Titania Jordan of Bark Technologies to get parents educated on sextortion, how to protect our children. I also have an interview live with John DeMay, whose son Jordan took his life just 6 hours after being contacted by a group of Nigerian men pretending to be a young girl. And I also have an interview with global cyber analyst Paul Raphael, who shares the astonishing numbers, how this is happening, how parents can prepare, and what to do if your child is contacted by a sextorter. I just want to load you guys up with as many resources as possible so that you can prepare and protect your children. Before I move on, please join me in sending love and support to the family of Timothy Barnett. All right, next up, we're going to talk about some legal updates related to online safety bills for children. Big tech continues to spend tons of money lobbying against bills that will keep our kids safe. In New York alone, Meta and Google have spent nearly $1 million in just the past few months fighting against important bills like the SAFE Act and the Child Data Protection Act. These are state-specific bills in New York, but big tech also lobbies big time against federal bills that would protect our kids online. So this week, there were two important hearings. One discussed the sunsetting of Section 230, and another discussed the American Privacy Rights Act and the Kids Online Safety Act. Please don't tune out here. I know that bills and hearings are boring, but here's why we need to educate ourselves. Big tech is raising our kids. When we give them phones, their childhood ends. Big tech is sucking them in, addicting them, and harming them with their algorithms, with their addictive features by connecting them with predators. And when a child dies or gets sextorted or suffers an eating disorder because they were literally served tons of disordered eating videos on TikTok, there's nothing we can do as parents. Big tech has a shield from liability that is called Section 230. This is a law enacted in 1996 that protects an online platform from liability due to what's posted on their platforms. The problem is that these companies influence what our kids see through the algorithms, through the For You feeds, through addictive features. When Snapchat recommends a drug dealer to a child, that child buys a fake pill laced with fentanyl and dies. Shouldn't Snapchat have some liability in suggesting that dealer to that child? This is why we need to fix things. This is why we need to fix Section 230 and pass important bills like the Kids Online Safety Act. And if we want our legislators to prioritize our children, we have to contact them and tell them to. You can take literally under 2 minutes. Go to senate.gov. There's a state drop down at the top. Find your senator. Let them know that kids' online safety is important to you. Then go to house.gov, go to the top right and enter your zip code. You will find the representative from your district. Contact them as well. The only thing that's going to change the tide and balance out the influence from big tech is the voices of parents. Our kids' lives are at stake. We have to do something. Moving on to a quick update from TikTok. TikTok is still all guns a-blazing in a lawsuit against our government after we passed a law requiring the Chinese parent company to sell TikTok to an American company, or we will remove it from our app stores. American billionaire Frank McCourt has begun talks to buy TikTok. He is a former owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He made his fortune in real estate. So Mr. McCourt has been on a crusade to remake the internet and recapture our control of our data from tech giants like Facebook and TikTok. He established an initiative called Project Liberty in 2021 to focus on these efforts. Here's a quote from Mr. McCourt regarding buying TikTok. This seemed like a great opportunity to actually create the alternative to the current internet, which has been colonized by large platforms, including TikTok. He said this deal could help users control their identity, own and control their data. Now, the valuable part of TikTok is their algorithm, and they don't want to sell it. So Mr. McCourt knows this, and he says, keep it. He and his team are talking about a different architecture, a different way of thinking about the internet and how it operates. This is all extremely interesting. I'm actually in talks with Mr. McCourt's team about an interview, so hopefully I can bring you more information directly. And I hope to also weigh in on behalf of us parents. We want a safe online space for our teens to connect. What we do not want is addiction and harm. So let's start there. Last up this week is an update on fentanyl. I wonder how many parents hear the word fentanyl and tune it out because they don't think our kids could ever access it. It's scary to think about that, but fentanyl is rampantly being sold on social media to our children. Snapchat is the biggest offender. So first thing here, the CDC reports that overdose deaths for children aged 12 to 17 have doubled in the past 3 years. But what's happening to most of these children, it's not an overdose, it's a poisoning. Kids are getting approached on social media by drug dealers. Oftentimes, Snapchat is recommending the drug dealer to the child through quick ad. The drug dealer tells the kid they have a prescription pill like an Oxy or a Percocet. The dealer can deliver it to the kid's house. The kid gets the pill, sometimes even breaks it in half, takes it, and dies. These kids are being duped to death. The pills are 100% fake. They often contain fentanyl. I've talked to countless parents at this point who have lost children due to a fentanyl-laced pill that their child purchased on Snapchat. The biggest thing I've learned is it can happen to anyone. No one is immune. Snapchat has known about this for many years and refuses to make actual meaningful changes to get the drug dealers off of their platform. In many cases, when a child died, the drug dealer's Snapchat profile stayed on the platform for up to a year or more after and caused more deaths. This week, I joined many of these parents in Santa Monica, California, where we held a rally in front of Snap headquarters. We're doing everything we can to try to get Snap to take this seriously and start protecting children's lives, but they continue to do nothing. And this week, Snap announced that they're going to be spending $1.5 billion every year on AI. That is a hell of a lot of money that can be put over to the safety team to get your drug dealers off of your platform. I will keep calling Snapchat out on this until they do something meaningful to protect our children. That's it for this week on the Big Tech Gut Check here at Scrolling to Death. Thank you for tuning in, for being a part of this important conversation. I'll be in touch next week.